We downloaded Unity and we want to create games. It's good to start with orientation in editor, so let's get started. We start the Unity Hub and create new project, select 3D template, give him a name and save it somewhere and click on create. Now we are in editor. It may look difficult as all new, but after time it will be super easy to navigate here. So on left side is hierarchy and there are all objects which are in scene. Scene is our canvas for creating project. Scene is also the first asset which is located in project window, which is on the left side down. In project window are folders where we have saved all assets which we use. These folders are real and we can find them in location where is this project saved. I have it in folder Unity, PrVX, Assets, and there it is, Scenes. If I create here txt document, it will also appear in project window in Unity editor. The main camera and light, typically something like sun, are the first automatically created objects. If I click on one of them in hierarchy, the inspector window will show at the right side. In inspector are all components of selected object. Components are functional pieces, something like properties of the object. So if we want object to have some feature, we create special component. Every object should consist of transform component, in which are data of position, rotation and scale. In scene window we create all magic. We can choose from different tools on the left side or we can select tools with special key on keyboard. If we press Q, then hand is selected. We will be able to move in the scene right and left. If you hold Shift on the keyboard, it will go much faster. To zoom in or zoom out, we have to use the wheel on the mouse. The hand can be turned on by pressing the wheel on the mouse, holding it and moving it around the scene. By right-clicking the mouse we can turn in different directions, but always from the point of view as if we were standing there and turning around. If we want to rotate the wheel around the object, we can press Alt and left mouse button. So that you can clearly see the difference, we will add a primitive object, cube. I click the right mouse button in the hierarchy, select 3D object and cube. The cube was generated in the center of the scene due to my camera rotation, so it is not in the center of the scene. Now we can try rotating around the cube, since it is located in the center of our view. So Alt plus left mouse button, we are spinning around the cube. If I press the right mouse button, I spin as if around me. If we want cube to be in the middle, we can either rewrite X, Y, Z or press 3 dots and select the reset option. This resets the cube's position, rotation and size to 1, so no scaling or reduction of size. For me, it is most convenient to move when I hold the right mouse button and move with WSAD, Q, E keys at the same time. W forward, S backward, A left, D right, Q down and E up. I can also use the keyboard to select instruments. Q is the mouse that we have already tried. When I press W, the move tool is selected. Now I can select an object either from the hierarchy or from the scene. Immediately, 3 arrows will appear on it, which represent movement in 3 axes. I don't have to explain that. In addition to the arrows, small walls also appear in the center, which represent movement on the given plane. We can click on any wall and when we hold it, we can move the cube along the plane we selected. When we press E, the rotation tool is selected. We can rotate as we want. If we want to rotate exactly by degrees, we can hold Ctrl and rotate by 15 degrees. Of course, if you want to rotate in smaller pieces or in some other way, the most accurate way is to enter the rotation in transform rotation. You will enter the value directly, or if you hold down the arrow next to the letter X, Y or Z, the mouse will become a slider and you can drag and thus change the values. When you press the R key, you will scale the object. As you can see, the object is enlarged on both sides. If you want to enlarge the entire object evenly at once, you can click and hold the white cube in the center of the object. When you press the T key, a rectangle will appear on your object. With this rectangle, you can transform the size of your object in 2D dimension. For example, now I have this orientation and I can only scale in these 2 directions. If I want to enlarge the object also in the 3rd direction, I have to rotate the camera differently. You may notice that the rectangle has changed. This scaling option is good to use when you want only one side of the object to scale, as it's enlarged in both directions when the scale tool is used. This tool is also the most often used in 2D environment, especially for UI. Finally, the Y button, which somehow includes all the buttons mentioned so far. So those are the basic tools. Now let's create something like a ball animation. It is good for training orientation in the environment. To see exactly what the camera also sees, it is good to move game view. When we are in the scene, we grab the game window and hold down the left mouse button and move it somewhere we want. It is important to change the view from free aspect to something intelligent, for example 16:9 or Full HD. Now the view of the game does not change even when we resize the window. I create a sphere, similar to how we did the cube. Hierarchy, create 3D sphere. I will place the sphere over my starting block. So that I can quickly move it to the place I want, I select the movement tool and press and hold the Y key. This will mark all the vertices that are on the sphere. The sphere is also made up of vertices, but there are so many of them that it seems that there are none. I'm holding U. I'll select a lower peak, so I hover over it with the mouse. Then I'll click with the left mouse button and hold it down. Now I hold both U and the left mouse button and can move with the sphere. Thanks to the vertices selection, when I go to the cube, the sphere automatically jumps to the top of the cube, which is close to my mouse. This is how I quickly determine the position of the sphere. Another quick way is to copy the position of the cube. After that, I just have to lift it up because it is inside the block. I will check if the sphere is above the block. I can also use the quick view selection in the top right. An interesting possibility is that when I click on the middle cube, the view changes from perspective to isometric, that is as if 2D. In this regard, WSAD movement doesn't work as we would expect. You need to move with the mouse. The sphere can be easily renamed in the inspector. Click and write a new name. So we continue with adding the environment. Quick copying of the cube in the hierarchy is done by clicking on the cube and pressing Ctrl+D, or you can copy in scene. I know it doesn't look pretty, but this is a great first project before you start making incredible game pieces. So now that you have the environment ready, try the play button. What will happen? Nothing. The sphere isn't moving because it doesn't have gravity property. We need to add it. Stop the play mode. Click on the sphere and add the rigid body component. This rigid body property is used for moving objects. Gravity is checked by default. Now we can start play. Do not forget to always exit play mode if you are going to make any modifications, otherwise the modifications will not be saved. You can notice that my play mode is different from normal. That's because I set it up so that I can clearly see when I'm in play mode, so the color changed. You can also set it yourself, like this. Edit, Preferences, Colors, and there the heading General, and under that Play Mode Tint, and you choose the color you want. But try to choose it wisely, so you see the properties in components even in play mode. For example, to see the sphere position when moving. So this would be all for a start. You are great, you created the first animation. Next time we will be polishing this project. We will add materials and assets from Unity Asset Store. If you want to learn something new about Unity 3D or 3D World, click the subscribe button and like. Bye bye!